The Eagles land at number 1, and it's well-deserved. They're hoping to go 4-0 to start the season. The last time they did that was 2004, when they finished the season 13-3 and ended up reaching what? The Super Bowl. Exactly. Okay, are you buying that the Eagles are the best team right now? Stephen A.
For the moment, yes. I'm going to say that. When I look at the Baltimore Ravens, despite the fact that I got Lamar Jackson as a leading candidate for MVP, the fact of the matter is Baltimore's defense is suspect. The Bills, with the eye test, you look at them, but then they made a comedy of errors, and obviously we saw them in that heat. It was a difficult adjustment. We understand that. But they've lost the game thus far this season. Kansas City, obviously, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, we understand that might be an aberration, but it is what it is. Green Bay, they got shellacked in the opening weekend against Minnesota. Tampa Bay, they just lost to Green Bay, and their offense has been a shell of itself. The Rams don't look like reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. Arizona's not there yet. We know that, okay? So you just scour the league and look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Guess what? They've got a top 10 defense, okay, in yards allowed, points allowed, and against the pass. Offensively, Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate right now. He's not higher than Lamar Jackson, but he is an MVP candidate. There is no question about it. And when we talk about some of the dynamic duos at the wideout spot, we've thought about New Orleans with a Michael Thomas and Olave. We've thought about, obviously, and mentioned Miami with Hill and Waddle. We got to look at the Chargers with Allen and Williams. We've got to look at the Bengals with Chase and Higgins. Guess who else we got to look at? The damn Philadelphia Eagles with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And they got a running attack. And they got a top-notch offensive line. And so I'm looking at all of these things, and I understand their competition is the question mark, okay? I get that. They beat Detroit and they beat the Commanders with their corny name and all of this other stuff. We got all of that. But in the end, when you look on both sides of the ball, in terms of a complete team, the only team in the entire National Football League that we can say that definitively about outside of the Eagles is the Buffalo Bills. Outside of that, we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of the complete team on both sides of the ball. I like what I'm seeing, and the fact that Jalen Hurts has clearly elevated his game, I think they've made a case right now that they're the number one team in the National Football League.
I think when you're doing this list 3 games into the season where they barely played 10%, and your competition is Detroit, where they gave up 35 points. Minnesota, he's been killing Cousins forever. And Washington with Carson Wentz.
That's a good point.
And now you're going to sit there.
Matters,
and the team that got buried last year in the playoff game against Tampa, and now all of a sudden we're going to rank them as the best team in the National Football League. Again, the potential's there. They have a chance to be very, very good. But I got to see more than the Lions, the Vikings, and the Commanders before I'm going to put them up there with teams that are established big-time teams. You got to put the brakes on it a little bit.
Dougie, the list is fluid. So we talk about week 3. The list is fluid, okay? I mean, we can change next week. We can change 2 weeks from now. But right now, the list is fluid. They belong there.
I love you, Doggy. You're one of my favorites. It's fun to work with you, but I got to come at you on this one. The whole point of you being the Doggy is because you can tell us what's coming. Like, anybody on the street can wait till after the Eagles win the Super Bowl to say, you know what? Hey, those Eagles are pretty good. Like, the point is, of course they haven't shown it to us yet because it's only week 3. And at this point, given the talent that they have, the only question mark coming into the season for this team was, is Jalen Hurts good enough? Can he throw the ball from inside the pocket, and can he break down zone coverages? He has been the best in football at that right now. So, yes, they're the best team in football, in large part because Jalen Hurts has turned into a really great MVP-level quarterback, but also because injuries are as much a part of professional football as free throws are to basketball. And everyone's going to lose some important players. This is the deepest team in the league. They got 2 #1 corners in Bradbury and Slay. They got 2 great tackles. Their interior line is Jordan Davis, who's this awesome guy out of Georgia. He don't even play that much because they got so much depth and talent on this team. They brought in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to play safety and help them in nickel situations. This team is loaded, and when they lose players, which they've already lost Barnett, and they're going to lose more players going forward, everyone's going to lose players, they're still going to be really damn good, and Jalen Hurts is only getting better.
I have to say one thing. Can we update your graphic, please?
yeah,
Who's the bald guy?
Oh, no,
I keep looking at the Dominique Foxworth show, and I'm like, who's the guy hosting
it's
it?
an old graphic. That's all right.
We need to address that.
Now, we got to tone down the handsomeness because it makes, like, men don't want to subscribe to my podcast because they're intimidated, so we use an ugly picture to make them feel comfortable.
We're on one today.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.